The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program host and guest and are not necessarily those of this station, management, staff, and sponsors. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time now for the Crown Car Care Show. Call in with questions and comments, 220-9788, 220-WSTU. Now, here's your host.
April showers bring May flowers half over.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's the 9th.
Yeah. Yeah. Next week is tax day, right?
Yeah.
Oof.
I thought we were just on last week talking about the big show upcoming, which is now.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be about the Cybertruck. Is it still going to be about the Cybertruck?
I think so. I think we can carve out some time for that. Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Well, that's what we did this morning, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. We
did. We were carving out time.
We did.
But we went places that we weren't supposed to go.
West Palm Beach will never be the same.
It won't.
No, that's for
Nor
sure.
they also pointed at it's the Cybertruck. He's doing it.
Woo!
But which one? They're all the same color.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for the folks that are industrious enough to do the
wraps. And I
Yes.
don't know what those cost. They look good.
Yeah.
It's like a rolling billboard.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
There was a Cybertruck there that had aftermarket rims on it that were even bigger that was parked.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. They had big tires on it, though. I've never seen anything.
Custom made.
I wonder if they're cheap. They just sell them at cost when you need new ones.
Yeah, I would hope so. I don't think so. But hope springs eternal. I think
I've heard they're like over 600 a piece
each. So, which makes sense because let's face it. I mean, if you can afford to buy a Cybertruck, the one we drove was the sticker price was
$79,000.
Yeah, so $80,000, and then you got sales tax and.
I don't think they have as many fees as a lot of these franchise dealers do.
Probably not, which is
right,
nice.
because you get, for me, the deception, and what I couldn't understand is if you bought a car for $10,000, why is the bill 16?
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Well, I understand sales tax, but what about dealer prep? Check, etched glass, sticker protection, rusty Bart Jones rust proofing.
Right.
What the heck?
So while I understand why they don't do it, you and I were both disappointed that they didn't turn on the, although it had the self-driving feature was turned on, it didn't have the auto navigation turned on. And so we're a little disappointed about that because that would have been kind of fun to sit behind the wheel and just.
Well, I was going to get in the back seat.
Yeah. Well, of course you can't do that. Even with the auto navigation, you have to babysit it. Yeah.
Well, I remember in that movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he made this person just like himself in the bed and it sneezed and coughed and sat up, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looked pretty lifelike.
It
Do you think I could trick AI on the Tesla?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
I thought we could do a pretty good job of it.
You can try.
And John Morris did it in Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
The real story. He made a dummy of himself and carved a hole in the and hit a picture in front of it and crawled out.
Yeah. Then
he took rubber and made a life raft and got away. Well, that's what they say.
Yes.
Clint Eastwood played him in the movie. Remember?
Nice.
It was a good movie.
It was a very good movie.
Those were the days when you actually got quite a bit of psychological interplay between people.
The characters. And
quite a bit of building. Even the if you think about Twilight Zone, that was what really that was about. It wasn't about the special effects. It was really about the psychological madness that went on in minds.
Yes.
At least that's my and you would never see it today, like the craziness that they would portray of humans.
I think X-Files was a little bit of a tip of the hat towards the Rod Serling.
Mueller, was it?
Agent Mueller. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, then the redhead.
Yes, 99. No, that was Get Smart.
That was in his shoe.
Oh, he had his own shoe.
And he drove the car that had the Ford small block in it. It was a what was the car? The little sports car from England.
Oh yeah. It'll come.
There was another one. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
So here's what we have for a great show today.
Right.
I'd like to start maybe with some news, and you want to take it from here, and we'll talk about some things, maybe some tariffs or something.
We can talk about the tariffs. Yes, let's do that. Let me get to the correct screen here.
Sure.
Automotive news. Elon Musk calls the White House trade advisor a moron in a public spat over tariffs. Now I understand what that was all about. The advisor was Peter Navarro, and during the interview, Navarro was going on about the fact that automotive companies were, and the legacy companies are bringing in component parts from out of country because they're cheap, and but that's not what Elon Musk is doing. Although he does have to bring in some parts, most of his cars are built here, and that's why.
He's a patriot.
Yes,
his car has more American stuff than anything.
Than anybody. But Navarro seemed to miss that memo, so that's why he got called.
And Navarro's been a Trump cheerleader for the longest time.
Well,
he took a bullet and went to jail over it.
Well, yeah, he's a good guy, but I think he just lumped him with all the other car manufacturers. I don't think he really understood the depth of what.
I don't think a lot of people understand the. He remapped every time he does a business. Elon Musk, he remaps everything that is the accepted norm.
Right.
Create something completely new that works better.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the products. I'm talking about the
process,
the company, the culture, the order and how people report to each other, the networking that goes on in the company, the idea development, the execution of quality control is completely different. He rewrites it all.
Yes.
And that to me is the lasting legacy that someone would give other, the Teslas, I get it. But really when you get into it, it's the Harvard business schools that go deep and dive and write articles about companies like his and these other younger people who we never thought would have the ability to. I'd always say, these kids today, they're never going to be able to do what we do. Right. There's people out there that redesign it better than what we do. Right. And Musk is one of them.
Yes.
And a lot of people aren't giving him that respect. And I do right here on the radio because that's the genius. That's the genius. For me, like when I run my business, Crown Car Care is the sponsor of this. My whole world's always about fixing cars. Okay. Am I a maverick? Yes. Am I an entrepreneur? I guess you'd have to because I started my own company. But when it comes to the running of the like human resources and getting the manager to do a process exactly right each day, that isn't what I excel at. And it's hard for me to do that. And seeing a Musk that is able to do that,
right,
is genius. And like maybe Musk can't go down to the electric motor level and talk about what engineers talk about. How I could enter in that conversation. Musk seems to be more of a macro idea guy that's able to assimilate all the chess pieces and make them all work together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's something I can't do. I can do it. I can do it well, but I can't do it so well that people would want to be mirroring and watching my styles. I get skin knees sometimes because I fall down.
Right.
But I pop right back up.
Yes. Well, that's the true entrepreneur.
Yes. Nothing stops me, but for me, what Musk does great is what I struggle with.
Well, and I think that's true with most of us, right?
Yeah,
sure.
Well, if you're really good at baseball and you play, say for example, the Detroit Tigers, like you did, I mean, you've got all these deals going on with sponsorship deals. You got your own grill coming out now, right?
George Foreman's got nothing on me. There you go. So we're going to play a little snippet here from Patrick Bet-David and his podcast.
Okay.
And
we'll chit chat on it.
Yes, there you go.
Tariff response. Rolls-Royce planning to shift production to U.S. to avoid Trump tariffs. Report. Okay, so let's see what's going on here, guys. I got three handful of charts I want to show you with this. That is charts. Oh, let me tell you, these charts that Brandon found. I have to show you this, and credit goes to him finding these charts, but they're insane. All right, let's read this. British engineering firm Rolls-Royce is planning to boost U.S. production to dodge President Donald Trump's tariffs, per London's Daily Telegraph. A source told the paper, if you are making something in countries like China, then you'll be looking at whether you can do it in the U.S. instead. The company known for aerospace and defense may shift from China, Canada, Mexico, where it employs around 6,000 workers, and even from the UK and Europe if tariffs hit. A Rolls-Royce spokesperson said, we have additional capacity with some of our U.S. operations and continuously seek to explore options to ensure that our global internal supply chain is optimized for delivery to customers in the U.S. The U.S. is vital for Rolls-Royce, making up a third of its global sales, with key clients like U.S. Department of Defense, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. Last year, it earned, $7 billion in North America versus $3.36 billion in UK and $8.4 billion in Europe. You got to realize most people, when we think about Rolls-Royce, what do we think about? Cars.
Of course.
But that's what they're famous for making.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah, and they're talking about aircraft.
Yeah,
engines.
totally separate companies, though. They're not the same.
Right.
Interesting, but isn't it nice when you come up with something with an idea, a tariff?
Mhm.
When they make a decision, and the president and the staff make a decision, okay, we're going to do tariffs. Trust me, it's not just somebody at the podium spontaneously pontificating that tariffs are a good idea and we're going to randomly do this, that, and the other. There's teams of people, hundreds, that are researching this stuff and doing calculations and net present value models of how much revenue is going to come in, as opposed to losses or what's the short-term effects. It's deep.
Yes.
No one. I think people think in our quick news world that like if I fix a car, it's like I spend 2 seconds and bingo, this is the fix. No, it's not that way. When nobody's looking, I have technicians in my shop that are pouring through manuals and databases and using scanners and oscilloscopes to come up with solutions for some of these things that are outside the norm of what the designers build in to check the subsystem to find faults. Just like this, same thing. These tariffs have probably been planned for years in terms of how they're going to affect the world and what are the unintended consequences of tariffs. Well, one is, we just heard it, right, Frank? The Rolls-Royce is going to shift production. Bingo, a win.
Yes.
That might be a bigger win.
Mm-hmm. And that's likely.
That might be the bigger win.
Yes. And that may ultimately truly be the intended consequence.
Okay.
Indeed.
No, I'm gonna tell you now. I've read. I can't on this show. I'm not going to go through the mathematics of why, but maybe next week we can, and I would be glad to do it. One of the unintended consequences of tariffs, or at least in the role playing of it being in an environment where we have today, is that the Federal Reserve interest rate will drop, which will save the United States trillions of dollars in interest paid to the Federal Reserve
for the debt.
So that's another beneficial unintended consequence.
Right. Right.
Okay. A win.
Yes.
If you get nothing but unintended consequences that are pretty much on the upside to win, you got a winner idea then, don't you?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And it sure brings people to the table.
Yeah.
I believe people are flying in from all over the world. What is it? BCA Airport in Washington is probably the busiest it's ever been. All these heads of state and dignitaries are flying in to meet with the man. You'd think he was famous.
You think he was the leader of the free world or something?
I haven't seen this ever in my whole years of observing presidents.
I'm sure they've had to add extra lines onto the phone for the hold button.
It's just crazy. I remember when I was in Maryland at the time. The first politics I remember is when I saw the president. I didn't even know his name. He made a peace sign as he got on the helicopter, and it was his last time at the White House.
Oh yeah,
it was Richard
Nixon.
What was his nickname? He had a
Tricky Dicky.
Tricky Dicky.
Yes,
Tricky Dicky.
But I think he actually was a really a much better president than the media made him out to be.
Oh, listen.
Yeah.
Just the first half hour of Russia Gate is triple the felonies and illegal activities of the whole break-in that happened at the Watergate Hotel, which is what the whole Nixon thing was about.
Right.
It wasn't even about the government. It was about breaking into the election headquarters.
And it wasn't even about that so much. It was about the cover-up of not admitting to it. If they admitted to it and said, okay, we did it, what are you going to do? So that would have been the end of it. But
who was really good friends with Nixon? They used to go out playing golf and drinking.
Who's that?
Jackie Gleason.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, there's a famous...
How sweet it is.
Yeah, supposedly those two jumped in a car and drove to a military base, and he showed him something.
Oh, he did?
It was supposedly...
Oh, yeah.
An alien in a jar.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's supposedly.
That's nice.
That's
Area
one of those,
51.
That's one of those
rumor
mill stories that we used to have a lot more of but now we have the internet. Everything's fact checked and that's 100% true. So we know everything.
Everything on the internet is true.
Right.
Sure.
Dr. Fauci said so, and he's got that car to sell. Wonder how that car is doing these days.
Oh, the Buick Fauci.
Yeah. Well, interesting about tariffs, isn't it?
Yeah.
That it's the more you look at it,
Mm-hmm.
well, the more I want to figure out how does he have so much power to get people to the negotiating table, Trump? And whenever he says jump, they say how high. What does he got?
Well, because we're the biggest consumer nation in the world, that's what we got. We got the buying power.
My mother said that maybe if you unwind all of his hair because it's wrapped like a swami, it would go down to his ankles. Maybe that's it. Do you think he swat like?
I understand why he wears the ball cap though, because if
but I just want to know how long the hair is.
well,
And my mom, it's a little strip along the sides.
yeah,
that's like 3 feet long.
Yeah,
you can make whatever you want. You can make mittens, gloves,
comb over.
There's more than a comb; it's a rollover.
Oh, God bless him. Oh, God.
Let's get into the
to
the fun part of our show.
Yes.
Not that this hasn't been fun,
right?
And I hope if you're a new listener, you're interested.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. How does the guy talk and rate his own show? I don't know. It's just here.
Right.
I can't say anything. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
Through my eyes, I just do what I do.
Right.
We just hope people are listening. And I can tell you, talk about that.
Yes.
I was working at the front counter all day at my Cove Road location, which is 4455 Southeast Cove Road. Been there over 20 years. Place is immaculate. Both my shops are clean. I have, and I don't just say this, we have top of the line equipment that's not dated at all, period.
Right.
2 customers came in, and they came in, and, are you the guy on the radio? I about ducked underneath I was about ready to hide underneath the counter.
Right.
Who, me? So that was just random. So
yeah,
I don't know. We don't. All I can say is I think we provide pretty good content. We're fun at times.
Yes,
especially at Christmas, and because if you don't know that we have been contracted to redo some of the rockets on on his sled.
Santa's sleigh.
You and I fixed them over there at my shop. You remember working late nights with that on that turbo thruster inducer fluxer,
flux capacitor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, you were my assistant.
Yeah, oh yes, able-bodied assistant. Yes.
Yes. So the Cybertruck.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Close this book here.
All right.
Then we'll go some of the lists. Frank, you were so gracious. You always are the man of the hour, and you made the appointments for us to visit, and they open right at 10.
Yep.
I was there a few minutes early, and they were locked. Not a negative or positive, but if everything was negative, it could be a negative, right? You always want to open your doors a little bit early, a little bit early.
Yeah.
And you always want to have the garbage picked up and the place all arranged. Nice. Well, my first observation of the place, let's get to some of this negative out of the way first, because it's an overwhelming boo-rah, yahoo. I like the truck. But there were some things that I think could have been done better. And not necessarily with the truck. The place was a mess. It was disheveled. It wasn't put together. The end tables where you sit were dirty. There was magazines upside down and sideways. The bathroom, I didn't get to the bathroom because there was a line. Apparently there's only one stall and it's one door. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's for both service and sales.
No, service people, they get their own facility.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they get wonder if they get hand cleaner too.
Oh, I would hope so.
Company provided. It's a benefit.
Yes. But yeah, so I ended up in the ladies' room because not because that
there was a song called "Meeting in the Ladies' Room." Was that what you were singing?
That's not because I identify that way, but it's just,
when you gotta go, you gotta go.
And so that worked. That part.
But I thought that was just
Yeah.
off. That was odd.
Yes.
And we did find out, interestingly enough, that they are serving Elon Musk at his I guess residence. He's got a bungalow he rents. I don't know how much he pays for it. It's immaterial. He's got all the money he needs.
Right.
Richest man in the world, isn't he?
He was until I don't know what the value of Tesla is right now. So I think that may have.
There's a few surprisers out there that have a ton of money, almost like him, and we never hear of. Larry Ellison is one of them. He started at Oracle. He's a silent guy. Yeah. But it's kind of like Mark Cuban, outspoken when he speaks, and generally when he speaks, people don't like him because of his mantra. Just the Mark Cuban. No one likes him when he speaks. He's just unattracted. Yeah, abrasive. He's abrasive, and you don't attract to his. Right. My soul doesn't want to melt around his, so I can hear more. Become his friend. Yeah. I'm going to turn the thing off and go out and shoot basketball or something
Do something else.
because I just can't deal with them.
Right.
It's
right.
very difficult for me because most of his speak is illogical.
Right. So, okay. So prior to us getting to there, you didn't know because I made the appointment, but they were very good about keeping in touch with me by text message.
Oh, really? Okay.
So-
So they're embracing technology.
So quite a bit. So I made the appointment. They messaged me back. We're looking forward, acknowledging the appointment and the schedule. And then they messaged me back later again, just to confirm that we in fact will be there today at 10 o'clock. And then again this morning, they messaged me just to make sure. And so it was, so the communication was very good. I must say that. So that's a check positive.
Okay. Yep.
Yep,
So
that- it
basically,
shows-
though, the building was acceptable. The
Mhm.
grounds are acceptable. It's in West Palm Beach. It's a
Mhm.
high traffic
Mhm.
place. I mean, it can't be perfect.
Right.
So I give that all a pass. I just had to say it out there. The place wasn't as clean as my shop.
Right.
My shop was way cleaner.
Right.
My
And
shops.
the service department seemed adequate and clean.
Yeah, and we heard some people describing some things that they had problems with. At least I did overheard a couple.
Oh, okay. Do tell.
They were talking about something that didn't work from day one. It was a light, I believe,
Mm,
and they were talking with the service advisor, and it sounded like a reasonable. The model of how cars are dropped off and dealt with is the same as it is everywhere.
right. Okay.
I mean, they haven't reinvented that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
It's
just
pretty
there's
much the same.
A
The
little bit of
service
diagnostic.
advisor has to do a lot of probing to get the correct symptoms so the technicians can start looking in the right place.
Mhm, mhm.
Bad story, bad results.
Yes.
Okay. And I heard a good story and I heard the service advisor asking the right questions. Okay. So we got that out of the way. The service department seemed pretty good.
Good.
Cars everywhere.
Yes.
Did see something out of place. I saw a 73 Chevy pickup truck, baby blue, or like a baby blue almost, parked right in front.
I'm guessing.
What was that all about?
I don't know, but if I had to guess, it's probably the store manager.
Okay, I bet you you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because it was mint. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, that's to the untrained eye,
Yes.
that looks just like an old pickup truck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but to the trained eye, that's a
uh,
$100,000 truck.
Oh yeah.
As much as that
That's a
Cybertruck is. 'cause
That's a
it's-
collector item. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
And it was well taken care of. It was in good shape on the outside.
yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So Frank, have you ever been to a concert before or
Yes.
a show where there's a magician?
Yes.
Have you ever been to one of those shows where the guy was good, but you just wanted more because
Yeah.
he was good?
Yes.
Okay. That's how I felt with the salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I loved his personality,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted to be,
You wanted to be wowed a little bit more.
I wanted him to give me like a little, when you're a car salesman, you should have like a 10-minute, like tour de force
Mm,
where you show the benefits of the car. I sold cars one of my first jobs out of college at Motorworks of Barrington, plug for them out in Barrington, Illinois.
yeah.
So BMW, Mercedes, Lotus,
Nice.
Turbo, and Porsche.
Okay.
But my sales manager, Bob Satlow, was his name. Good guy. Took me, he goes, Todd, I'm going to take you on a test drive and I'm going to tell you how to do it. So he did his pitch
Mm-hmm.
and I embraced it and it worked.
Nice.
The whole time he was taking someone on a test drive, he had a benefit he was going over. By the time he got to the dealership, their tongues were hanging out like a salivating Pavlovian dog. And you know what a salivating Pavlovian dog is?
Yes.
That's a Pavlov's great experiment in psychology.
Exactly.
They start mouth, I want the car.
Yes.
If you do it right,
Yes.
they just can't, they're itching to get the darn thing. They just
Right.
want to get in there and get it.
Well, so coming in the door is half the battle. Getting
Yeah.
people to come in the door, that means you've already created enough interest for them to walk in the door.
And you can't pre-qualify.
Yeah.
My first week working there, a guy came in his jeans late at night. We were getting ready to close at Motorworks at Barrington. I believe it was a Friday night I'm working. This guy looked like a bum and no one would serve him. And humble me, he was right out of college, thin as a rail, doesn't really know how to speak yet properly in front of people. I'm nervous as heck. Always had that jittery feeling. Whenever I want to have talk to a customer, call him, I always had that butterfly feeling the whole time I worked there.
Sure.
And it's just awful, but it is.
Right.
I went up to him, can I help you, sir? He goes, yes, I'm interested in buying a Porsche 928, which is the highest, most expensive car. He paid cash. He didn't pay cash. He brought a check that night for it.
Right.
He was a toy manufacturer in downtown Chicago. He had a big factory and he came in with sandals and jeans on. Everyone thought he was a bum. I got above list price on a 928 champagne. No, it was a purpley metallic champagne color, like a light metallic. I remember it was one of my first cars I sold, and it was a 928, which was their top of the line model.
Yeah.
And kudos to me, I guess, because I went to serve him.
Yeah.
And he looked like he shouldn't have been served.
You can't tell about book by its cover.
So I wanted the salesman to
Yeah.
give us more.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, and he could have.
He
He
did.
could have. I know he could have.
So I think probably.
Think he was in line for the bathroom?
Could have. That's a possibility. But I think the fact that I announced our full intention that it was just a test drive.
Me
for the
too.
radio.
And I always set the stage too when I go in. If you noticed, I said that. Because it doesn't mean we're not buying, but you need to know what we're doing.
Right.
Because I don't want any gotchas,
We
and that's
want
not what we do.
Full disclosure.
Except when you find screws in trunks, you do gotchas. Frank was on a roll when we did a Lucid test drive. He was hammering this poor salesman. He was tongue-tied. By the time it was done, he was, because you hammer right after that. You hammered him on the headlights. And you kept pushing on the headlights. He'd come up with an answer, then you'd like reel him back in to the road to death because he didn't know. You know what I mean? He couldn't answer it.
No.
You caught him with the screw.
Yeah.
So let's take a break and we'll come
All
back.
right.
All right.
Okay, let's do that. And we've got much more to cover when we return, so stick with us.
Professional Superstock Showdown! This Saturday night at Detroit Trackway. Plymouth and Chrysler Corporation fans will be cheering for the #1 car in the country, Ronnie Sox and Buddy Martin in the Sox and Martin Plymouth. Chevrolet and General Motors fans will be cheering for their man, the fastest Chevrolet in the United States, the Ford 27 Camaro of Bill Grumpy Jenkins. Dodge fans will be cheering for a brand new Superstock, the all-new Dodge Challenger Superstock of the Ram Chargers. Detroit
Ram
area Chevy
Chargers.
lovers will see the fast-rising Camaro
Simply a
Superstock of
Dix.
White
You-
Bond.
You notice, Frank, a lot in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Famous people that were like performers in sports, basketball, whatever.
Yeah.
They had like it was in parentheses, a nickname, like Tricky
Yeah.
Dicky. Well, A lot of baseball players I've heard had nicknames, and I'm
Oh,
thinking of you.
Okay,
What was
here we
your
go.
nickname?
Speedy Gonzalez, right? I don't think so. I didn't have one.
I heard-
No. Well, I was the gopher for the team. So sometimes in the morning, I get there early. I'd go for coffee and donuts.
Didn't you tell me a story about you trying out for a team where you struck the guy out? And
That was in Little
will
League.
you tell that story, because it's really a good one, and I hate to ask you, but will you do it?
Oh,
Come on,
well,
man,
all
it's a
right.
good story.
All right. Well,
Because it gives kids, if
so-
anyone's young, listening,
All right.
never give up.
16 years old, and I was back then. You just didn't show up. You had to try out for a team, and they said, "Well, we really don't need any pitchers." I wanted to be a pitcher. I said, "Well, all right." They said, "Well, really, we don't have any room." I said, "Well, if I can strike out your best batter, would you consider me?" And he goes, "Well, I mean, how could he say no?" Right.
Right.
So that was my contest there. So he goes to the bench and takes out this guy. He was like 6'4". Yeah, and this 16-year-old kid, and he's 185 pounds. It's
Yeah,
just,
he was shaving when he was 5.
I'm telling you, it's like, dude. And I came up to his armpit, I think, it's like, anyways. So I got up to the mound, and they found somebody who was willing to catch, and I struck him out. But
How did he take it? Because I'm curious. Because
Well,
a lot of them people get all
he-
mad.
He did. He took his bat. He beat on the home plate with his bat on the last swing. But because it's not by the power, it's really by location, And I wasn't going to overwhelm him because I'm not a power anything. But I had accuracy. I can throw for strikes, and then I could put the ball where he could not find it. So, anyways, it was
Oh,
kind
that
of
is such
fun.
a good story.
Yeah. So
And you made the team, obviously.
yeah, I did.
But there
and
was some
there
other
was-
things
there
that
was-
came into place.
But but I did make it, and then I got a phone call later that they had some issues with.
But the magic of the
Yeah,
story was
with-
pure
Yes.
from beginning to end.
Yes.
And the boy that
Yes.
claimed he could
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Because if you don't claim you can do,
Right.
you'll never know if you did.
You got to believe in yourself,
Right.
right? I mean, that's really and what you can do. And as long as you have faith and confidence in yourself, and you work hard, you can achieve just about anything.
Well, what was that show that Trump had? He fired
Oh,
everybody.
the
didn't he? You're
Apprentice.
fired.
The Apprentice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people would do like a presentation there, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
And then he learned, you're fired.
Yeah.
Tariffs are 50%. Where's my comb? My hair's dragging.
Pay the man on your way out. Yeah.
He seems to have and it seems like wherever he flies, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance. Like poor Nancy Pelosi, I remember one year she ripped up his speech or something. And behind him.
Mhm.
But everyone was there because of him. It's like as hard as anybody tries.
Right.
And this is, I think, what gets people ticked off too.
Mhm.
His feathers get ruffled, but they never get wet like
Yeah.
a duck.
Yeah.
It seems
He's
like,
very resilient. He's
but
very
it just
resilient.
seems like
Because he has single-minded direction, and I think most people like that. Well, apparently 80 million people like that enough to elect him for president.
Yeah.
So
it's just a remarkable story, your
Yeah.
story, and how you can take that story and boy, it's every young boy's dream to do what they dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
To do what they dream,
Yeah.
to dream it.
yeah,
And you got to, because of the one statement, you said one statement to the coach, if I strike him out, will you let me on the team?
Yeah.
How can you say no?
Yeah.
Don't pay me today. Just let me see me work. I used to do all kinds of odd jobs, and sometimes I had to prove my worth too. You know,
Right,
not like
right,
that, but
right.
to justify the pay.
Mhm.
And then once they found out in my neighborhood that I was the kid that would do the work, back then, if I was an entrepreneur, I would have hired a whole staff of people because I had so much work I couldn't do it all,
Right.
which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
any case, back to the Cybertruck. So
Yes.
basically, we registered, and it was a card. It looks like a credit card,
Mhm.
and it was an odd place to place. I have to say, it didn't seem right where you put the card. It seemed
Isn't it?
more like a cup holder,
It's a center console.
but there was no labeling though. There was
No,
nothing.
that's right.
There was
Yeah.
and it didn't fit. It was the console hole was bigger than what the card was.
Right.
That seemed off to me.
Mhm.
Way off to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only the key for the whole car. I mean,
And he was very adamant that had to go there at like that.
Yeah.
In that location.
But it's just there was no
Yes.
no arrow, no nothing, no highlight, no like imprint of the card where it would place like maybe when they injection molded the rubber that would have a
So
little.
maybe that's by design,
I don't
that curious onlookers wouldn't know unless only the informed would know.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Didn't they use one of those things to blow up outside of one of his golf courses? Didn't one of them blow up and the guy went with it? A Cybertruck.
Oh,
Yes, it was in the news. And in fact, the Cybertruck contained the blast only up instead of sideways because I guess the sheet metal or whatever that's
that's true.
glued on there.
Yeah,
doesn't-
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Elon Musk said that their plan. This was the Las Vegas one that blew up in the breezeway of a hotel.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yes.
And his plan was to fix the truck. He says, "Yeah, it's still repairable."
Also, they bring cars that he drives. We said a Plaid or a Cyber Beast.
Cyber Beast, which is the tri-motor.
Yes,
Right.
and that's what they bring. They bring to Mar-a-Lago. He said regularly,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember. Right.
He'll call up and ask for one of his vehicles to be rolled in for him.
He's got a lot of vehicles. I
Yeah.
mean, you consider he's a. Don't know if he's the majority shareholder of the company still. That would be something we need to look into.
Yeah.
Who owns the most shares?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi? She's
Who
worth
knows?
enough. She's worth it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
How did she get all her money?
That is the
Inquiring minds would like to know.
yes.
Okay, so we got
Yes.
into the Cybertruck. The
Mhm.
first thing I noticed on the interior was a white band, and it stood out quite a bit.
Mm.
But it broke the interior darkness up that appeared.
Right, and I think that was well from from the
I
design
liked
side.
it.
I liked it too from the design because it does break it up, and you don't realize how. I think you'd really realize how black the whole truck is on the inside if you didn't have it.
Yes.
Yes.
When I sat in it, because I drove it first, and the seats seemed more sports car like than really well made and better than my seats in my Model 3 or even a Model S for that matter.
Very comfortable.
But like
Yeah.
formed on the side, bolsters is what they call them.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, the headrest was just perfect for me because my head kept banging against the headrest.
That one time I put the brakes on hard when that person in front cut us off. That was the only time I felt anything. That thing
Yeah.
drove like a
Oh,
old granny's car going to
Yeah.
little old Pasadena or something. Now.
Yes,
I
yeah.
don't know if you believe that. 'Cause
Woo!
when we take test drives out, we have to experience everything,
Right.
including full throttle. Now, how much at full throttle? This time was a little bit more than last.
Mhm.
I was hammering it.
Yeah.
So we got into the car, and the first thing I noticed too was how big the screen was.
Yes.
What did you think of that screen in the middle, Frank?
It was very, very pleasing to the eye. It wasn't. It's in a location that doesn't seem to obscure your view,
At all?
and the rear view mirror that's in the screen is wonderful.
That's wonderful.
And
And the backup lines, when you back up, are really quite good.
yes,
It's almost intuitive. It was.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was backing up, I was impressed by that.
mm-hmm.
Now, we were going down Okeechobee, and I'll tell you, the first thing I did when I pulled out of the parking lot and made a right turn, what happened? Well, we tested the acceleration.
Yes,
It was
gotta
time.
make sure to pull out into traffic.
You
safely.
need to, if you
Yes.
need to pull out in an emergency maneuver, say like the Beast when it has the President of the United States in it.
Right.
We wanted to test that Cybertruck. At least I did,
Mhm.
to make sure that if you need to get going,
Yeah.
you can get going.
That's right.
And my take is you can get going. That big hunk of metal
Woof.
took flight.
And it's 6,000 pounds. Give or
But Frank,
take.
that thing put you
Yeah.
in your seat.
Oh, it did.
I didn't know what you were. It took your breath away.
Snap my head back into that headrest. I'll tell you what. But that was fine. Yeah. Very comfortable.
Yeah. Then we went down and we had a pit stop at McDonald's because I needed something to drink.
Yes. Yes.
We went into McDonald's, and of course, me pulling into McDonald's, they must have changed that road. They did have had road construction there because I went over a curb, and I don't remember it there last time.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember last time I was even there.
Yeah.
But I went over a curb, if you noticed,
Exactly.
and I had nothing to see here. Move along.
That's
I
right.
just kept driving. Like nothing happened.
Exactly.
Could have bent the rim for all I know.
I don't think so. No.
The
It's
rim
just-
bent on my car.
well, yeah, but
That was a little
it
different.
was a different driver.
Yeah. But when I pulled in, you stayed in the vehicle and it stayed awake. I'm assuming it didn't go to sleep
Correct.
because they must have changed some of the software. When I first got mine, it would if you leave the car open and don't put it in camp mode or activate something, it would go to sleep
Oh, okay.
while you were still sitting in. So I
'Cause
think
it-
it's becoming more intuitive.
It
And
must have a sensor in the seat too.
it's got cameras too, and they
Yeah.
record everything. So if you ever try to do any vandalism to a Cybertruck, this is really to anybody.
Mm.
Pick a different vehicle if you have to do vandalism or do something else because you're going to get caught. They got cameras in every one of them.
Yeah.
All Teslas do.
Mhm.
It was something he does.
Mhm.
But there seems to be an undue amount of violence in the world on his vehicles. And you got to come up with a different style or do something different, man. You're all getting caught.
Yeah.
And what's ironic is when they get caught, they've all been paid to do it. Now,
Yeah.
why would who would
Oh,
pay somebody?
Really?
Just like if you go to all these protests, they
Mm.
bust them in.
Mhm.
Now, why would they bust and pay people to go to a protest if it's just a popular idea?
Right.
Could it have to do with the mandate of why Trump won? I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm just thinking. I think I don't know. I think
Spitballing.
the thing
here.
I'm thinking of is grasping for straws is what I can keep thinking of.
Yeah.
They're trying every trick in the book. The old playbook doesn't work anymore.
No.
You got to have real results and be good and have the interests of the United States first,
Yes.
America first.
Right.
Now, I'm driving this vehicle, and the first thing else I noticed, there's no steering wheel, Frank.
It's a yoke.
A yoke. You can take the yoke and stuff it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So the good news is the yoke
You can change them.
can be removed. Yes.
I believe they even have like an option to do it, but
yeah.
I'm not a yokey.
Yeah.
I mean, do you soft boil yours over easy? How do you do the yoke?
I like mine over easy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Little runny.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just-
Load
that's
up
what-
with salt and pepper.
That's
and
what
it's
your
quite good.
bread's for.
The toast.
Yes.
Of
that's
course.
right. Yeah.
And sourdough. Good. But the yolk is, you stuff it. I just too small. I don't
Mhm.
like it. Now, the other thing I noticed, since I've been learning to drive, when I was 15, when you want to go left or right, there's a rod that comes off the left side, and it's as basic as it gets. You go up or down, and it tells you what to go. It's kind of intuitive because your hands kind of forward of the
Moving that
wheel.
direction.
Your hands forward when you're driving. Your fingers are forward of the wheel, so it's
Right.
right to it.
Right.
Now they've got these daggone turn signals on the button.
Damn God.
It's stupid, man.
Yeah.
That's dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That doesn't work in my book. That's
Yeah.
just dumb. Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah.
It's awkward to do. You have to reposition your hands.
So I think if you are probably a video game person, this would probably be very
No.
intuitive for you.
I'm not.
Yes,
not.
and neither am I.
I'm not. And I don't know how the demographics are of people buying,
Mm.
but I would say we haven't
I
hit.
saw a young lady driving a Cybertruck
really?
as we were leaving today.
I told you, my daughter and wife
Yeah.
keep asking about it.
Yeah, see that?
Since I've been home, I came back.
They need something to pull that horse trailer.
They seem to be
Yeah.
very, very interested in my test
Mm.
drive on my Tesla Cybertruck and what it was like, how
Yeah.
much it cost.
Yeah, see.
I don't know what's going on here.
Ruh-roh.
There could be ideas could be brewing in the
Yes,
Harris family.
yes. But
Uh,
yeah,
we'd have to. We already got 7 vehicles.
yeah. How many can you? Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have a car insurance radio show one time, and we'll talk about car insurance premiums. Yeah, $46,000 a year is what we paid the Harris family
Oof.
for cars.
It's
46,000 a year. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's undoable. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just
Yeah.
ridiculously
Right.
stupid. Never had a claim.
right.
I've never had a ticket since I was
So the
20.
good news about it, because Tesla was taking it hard on car insurance with the regular insurance writers, so they developed their own insurance company now.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Okay, that's
So,
nice.
Yeah, good to know.
No, did not know that.
Mhm.
Okay, so he's going to become an insurance magnate. Yeah.
Well, because Elon
He
Musk
could.
saw a need, and he's just serving. So the customers that say would be a customer otherwise would shy away if they just were shy because of the issue of having to deal with insurance
And
So-
residual value and
Right,
totally
so-
not. So yes.
So you take away the so it's sales 101. You take away any of the issues that customers might have against buying a product, and then before you know it, they're buying the product.
Okay.
So
The next thing I felt when I was driving this truck, I felt higher up,
yes,
but I said it a couple times, a yawing sensation, like it
Mhm.
was rocking side to side all the time.
and you think that's because of the air
I think it's a
suspension?
pneumatic suspension on that. It's just, I guess I get used to it. The front steering seemed a little twitchy, like because the steering on that does not have a steering shaft and gear like every other car that's ever been made.
Mhm.
Okay. It's
Mhm.
fly by wire.
Yeah.
Okay. You may have like your car's got electric steering. My car has electric steering, but it's shaft, steering wheel, shaft turns down, going through the firewall to either the rack and pinion or to the gearbox. The assist is just that, assisting you turning it.
Right.
This is not that. This is you move it an inch, it goes an inch. And it seemed to be when you get to a point, you can get into a twitchy sensation where it's your slight movement causes it to slight move, and it gets repetitive, almost like a compounding effect. And you can feel the twitchiness at times. Whereas on a regular car, if you just corrected the wheel slightly when you were turning, you wouldn't get the twitch.
Interesting. And it could be the autocorrect too.
Yes. But not a problem. I'm just saying it's an observation. Now, the other, I didn't get the twitches when we were heading back. We made a wrong turn and we got right. I was describing to you, like when you race on a road course, you do all your braking before you turn.
Yes.
You coast into the turn, then that halfway point, called the apex, you hammer it.
Right.
Well, it passed flying colors.
It did.
I hammered it, just like it said to do when I was racing.
You can easily go through that turn without any effort.
And I seemed to pass a couple cars that were in front of me. It was like a slingshot. Slingshot effect with the Tesla Cybertruck.
It looked like the warp drive.
It did.
Visual, yes.
I was plastered against my own seat. And I didn't know what's going on. Your lips were going. Blah, 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 blah.
I heard my ears pop.
And then as we were coming back from the drive, I wanted to see, because it is claimed an off-road and it's four-wheel drive. I wanted to see if we could arrive there through the field.
Right.
But it didn't work.
But there was a gully in the way.
Remember, police were flashing lights. Police showed up.
Yeah, but not for us.
No, but it sure looked like it.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to do.
They were
fight or flight.
They were on a mission, and fortunately, we were not in the crosshairs.
But once they had gone by,
yes.
I don't know if you noticed when we were leaving, I did a little maneuver.
A little donut there. Yeah.
Maybe.
A little donut.
Burning a donut in a Cybertruck.
Yeah. Oh,
right before we returned it to the dealership.
Nothing like
this thing was like brand new. I'd like to buy one, but just not that one. I want a different one.
We did kick up a fair amount of dust. But
of course we did. But it needs to. We're the testers. We're reporting to the public what we found, and we found it does do donuts. It does hop curbs.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it fits in with the true, contractor ready, tough. I don't think that's made for prime time yet. I don't. Like if it's on a work site. Maybe it is. I don't know. It has plugs in the back.
It's got 110 and 220 outlets in the tailgate.
So could you do like those? I've seen cartoons where you hook a tailgate hitch on there or trailer hitch. And then you get a diesel generator and run in the generator that you're pulling, and then take a power cord and plug it into the back of the Cybertruck, 2 males. And then you can charge your Cybertruck while you're pulling it. You'll never run out.
You could theoretically, as long as you have fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way. The range extender.
Yes.
We could sell them.
Yes.
Trailer hitch, a diesel generator, and then a long extension cord for Cybertrucks first.
Yeah.
And then there'd be no engineering involved.
No.
We'll buy government surplus generators.
Right.
We'll touch them up with some fresh paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go to Harbor Freight and buy some trailer tires. I believe they sell hitches, and we'll get an extension cord, and we'll package it for $10,000.
Nice.
And we'll have 2 into it. And wait a minute. That's a business plan.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Wait, we got to stop. We're fixing cars. We're not doing that.
No.
It was just an idea.
Yeah.
I've seen funny pictures of generators being pulled by
sure.
Teslas.
Sure.
Okay. This is the lightning round, Frank.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you some quick questions.
Okay.
And design.
Okay.
The design. Quick statement.
I like it. I thought it's clean, efficient, and neat. Yes, I like it.
The size.
Size was big, but not cumbersome.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Big, but I don't think it's as big as we thought.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Interior.
Spartan.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been, I think it could have been a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was something in the middle that I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Who knows? Salesman.
It was nice, but certainly not over anxious to sell us, because we told we weren't customers.
But he did respond to every question I asked him about Donald Trump and stuff. I tried to get some dirt.
Yeah,
and we did. We got some inside scoop here.
Yes.
We'll have to See if we can sell our story for
Yes.
25,000. Hot off the press.
25 cents maybe. Here's a quarter.
Ride quality.
I think the ride quality was good.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it was quiet. It was
Very quiet.
Tires are these aggressive beasts. I've heard they're specially designed and engineered.
Special tires, and yet they were not noisy
At all.
I've been driving next to Jeeps with the big nubby tires, and they are incredibly noisy. Some of those Jeeps.
What do you think of the choice of color on the outside? I mean, because
The
you can get
silver?
any color you want except, well, it has to be silver.
Yeah, I'm okay with stainless steel. I mean, ever since the DeLorean came up with stainless steel, I thought that was a great idea.
On a scale of 1 to 10, your whole experience,
Yeah.
including the truck,
Yeah.
0 to 10. What's your
I
overall?
give it an 8+.
Me too.
Yeah.
About an 8.
Yeah.
And an 8. I think if the price doesn't match, I think there's a discrepancy between price and what you're actually getting.
Mm,
To the average consumer, to me, it's a whiz band, cool technology. I can see where it needs to be that price with what you're getting, but the average person, it's not there.
I'd want to look at more of a diagnostic to see how big the battery bay is. How
Yeah.
you know?
I was a little disappointed with the frunk or whatever they call it in the front. It was minuscule.
Yes,
There was nothing there.
right.
I thought it'd be much bigger.
Yeah.
No, what's in that cavity? Is that a secret spot? Like what's under the
That's
dash?
probably. I think that's with the central nervous system for all the computers and stuff.
I
that
heard it
were-
was like a porta potty or something. In case you can't use the
No,
building, go
Well,
in.
yeah. There's always that. But
Okay, so you give it an 8.5. That's about what I would give it.
Yeah. good. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Good.
I mean, I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
I think the Ford Lightning that we checked out, I think
Mhm.
that's more if if you're average guy hammering nails or pouring concrete, that fits, I think, more than this does. Although this
But I
looks
wouldn't take-
rugged. No, I would take it to the bank though. I would not take it to the bank on that one because I think this Cybertruck can do more. In fact,
Yeah.
I wish we could get Musk on the radio here in line and ask him some questions about
Mm.
the Cyber Beast.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to test drive the Cyber Beast now? Because is there more that they offer
they
that
do
I
not
haven't?
offer the Beast for
No, but if I was to
Yeah.
test drive that,
would
could we have gotten into trouble if I pulled the stunts that I did?
probably so. Probably
Because
so.
I did pull some stunts today.
Yeah. I understand the military is looking at these vehicles too.
Oh,
by the
really?
way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So overall, I
Yeah.
thought the whole experience was good. The salesman was great. He just didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a Zig Ziglar.
He wasn't a ball of energy, but again,
Pleasant and non-pressure and really
Right.
basically if I had shown up an hour later, I don't think it would have phased him.
well, actually, I funny you should mention that. He texted us.
Oh,
during,
he did?
Yes, during our drive. He said, "Well, your time is nearly up."
You should have texted, help, we're stuck. That's what I would have done. Help, we're stuck in a ditch by the airport. We don't know what it is. And it says the landing strip is this way. And then it looks like they're taking off and landing there, but it's not airplanes.
But yeah. So, anyways, it was good. But you know what we got to do? We got to get ready to go. So
Oh, I hope everyone enjoyed our Cybertruck hour, and it was fun.
Yes.
Well, we passed some time together, and that's all I can ask. Give Crown Car Care a try if you're looking for a service provider or maintenance provider here in Martin County.
all right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.